Welcome to Neo Royal House of Pricey Cardboard. Today, I present to you an interesting little 1v1 between me and Kelly. Here are the house rules. Soul Ring gets ignored when drawn, and the Battle Bond lands comes in untapped even if we are 1v1. Other than that, these are our irregular multiplayer decks. Kelly is playing our Syr Konrad deck, and I will be playing the Scarab God. By default, Konrad is at a disadvantage because of the level of optimization in its list versus my Scarab God list. But these decks are not made especially for 1v1, and my Scarab God can take a little more time to get into action. If Kelly gets the damage going quickly, she has a chance to close the game. Syr Konrad wants to mill the players, dealing damage for every creature hitting the bin, and closing the game by either casting a board wipe or exiling its own graveyard for a lot of damage. She has a high creature count and some reanimation to help bring the speed. The Scarab God can do many things. You can go aggro zombie if you get multiple early drops with good stats, or you can go defensive and focus on your upkeep trigger while taking the best out of all graveyards. Either way, this deck should never be underestimated. My opening hand contains Mikaeus the Unhallowed, Toxic Deluge, Herald's Horn, Jet Medallion, Dimir Aqueduct, Creeping Tar Pit, and the Myriad Landscape. This hand is pretty good, only shame is that all my lands enter the battlefield tap. I have 4 land drop on hand, 2 pieces of ramp with some potential drop and a board wipe. Kelly's opening hand contains Carrion Feeder, Scrap Trawler, Mausoleum's Secrets, Deadly Tempest, and 3 basic swamps. Here we have an alright hand, 3 lands are the average go-to, no ramp or drop, but we have a fetch if we can get some creature in the graveyard. A nice little board wipe as well if the situation gets out of control. I win the die roll and start this match. I land drop Myriad Landscape. Kelly land drops a swamp. She casts Carrion Feeder. I land drop Dimir Aqueduct, returning the Myriad to my hand. Kelly land drops a swamp. She casts Perpetual Timepiece. Going to combat, Carrion Feeder hits me for 1. I then land drop Myriad Landscape once more, and cast a Jet Medallion. At my end step, Kelly mills her top 2 cards with the Timepiece, Lightning Greaves and Tortured Existence. Kelly land drops a swamp. She then casts Scrap Trawler. I draw a Miracle cast Temporal Mastery. I land drop Creeping Tar Pit and pass to my extra turn. That was a funny looking Rampant Growth. I land drop a Field of the Dead. I then cast Herald's Horn, naming Zombies. At my end step, Kelly mills 2 swamps with the Timepiece. Kelly land drops a swamp. She casts Mesmeric Orb, one of the most dangerous cards in our deck. She head into combat and sent Carrion Feeder with a Scrap Trawler to me. I untap 3 permanents and mill accordingly. I then drop a Temple of Deceit, scrying 1. Behold, mortals, the Scarab God.
The hour of eternity is upon us.
At my end step, Kelly mills 2 cards, Chainer Dementia Master and Mortuary Mire. She untaps 5 permanents and mills that many. She then land drops a basic swamp and casts our commander, Syr Konrad the Grim.
Would you look at that? I guess not everyone can live happily ever after.
I untap 4 permanents and mill 1 creature. I get my maths wrong and crack my Myriad Landscape for a swamp and a snow swamp before land dropping a Deserted Temple. Field of the Dead triggers and create a zombie token. At my end step, Kelly mills 2 cards with the Timepiece, Castle Loch Twain and a swamp. She then untaps 6 permanents, milling 2 creatures. She then drops a basic swamp. She casts Palladium Mirror. At her end step, I target Ophiomancer in her graveyard with a Scarab God. In reaction, Kelly activates the Timepiece to mill 2, again 2 swamps. She then exiled the Timepiece to shuffle most of her graveyard into her deck, leaving Lightning Greaves and Nihil Spellbomb in her graveyard for later uses. 5 creatures leave the graveyard and I take 5 from Mr. the Grim. I then untap 7 permanents and mill 3 creatures. In my upkeep, I bring back Cryptghast from my graveyard as a 4/4 zombie token. I resolve the Scarab God trigger for 2, scrying 2, and losing 2 life to my opponent. I reveal Carrion Feeder to my Herald's Horn and draw another card. I then drop a Drowned Catacombs, creating a zombie. I cast Meteor Golem. Entering the battlefield, I destroy the Mesmeric Orb. The Scrap Trawler triggers and puts the Spellbomb in Kelly's hand. I pass. She casts the Nihil Spellbomb. She casts Woe Strider. Entering the battlefield, it creates a lovely gold token. I go to my upkeep and bring back my Lord of the Undead from the graveyard. I resolve my Scarab God trigger with 4 zombies on the battlefield. I then undrop a Sunken Hollow, creating a zombie. I cast Mikaeus the Unhollow. After that, I cast Lord of the Accursed. Now that my zombie tokens are bigger than Konrad's toughness, I cast Toxic Deluge where X equals 4. Reacting to the spell, Kelly activates Konrad twice, milling 3 creatures. She sacrificed the goat to scry 1, then sacrificed the Host Rider to the Carrion Feeder for +1/+1. She sacrificed the Palladium Mirror to the Carrion, putting the orb back to her hand from the Scrap Thrower trigger. She sacrificed Scrap Thrower to Carrion, bringing the Lightning Greaves to her hand. And finally, sacrificed Carrion Feeder to himself. She then exiles her own graveyard with a Spell Bomb, exiling 6 creatures. The Toxic Deluge resolves and my Meteor Golem and Konrad are the only casualties. The Meteor Golem comes back with a +1/+1 counter, but has nothing to blow up. I send Scarab God, 2 tokens, and Crypt Gas to Kelly for 23 points of damage. Now this is a misplay, as all my creatures were -4/-4, but it didn't matter too much, as you will see. In post-combat main phase, I cast Carrion Feeder and extort it. Kelly untaps and casts Deadly Tempest. In reaction, I sacrifice my whole board to take no damage from the board wipe. If somebody asks you why you run Carrion Feeder, show him this video. At the end step, the Scarab God comes back to my hand. I recast the Scarab God and pass with mana open. Kelly casts Mesmeric Orb. She then casts Grey Merchant of Asphodel. She gains 2 life and I lose 2. At her end step, I bring back Meteor Golem and destroy Gary with its ETB. Oh, the amount of game I won with others people Gary. I untap 7 permanents and mills accordingly. At my upkeep, I bring back Mikaeus first, and then Kelly's Gary, draining her for 6. I then resolve my upkeep trigger with 2 zombies. I then drop a basic swamp. I send the Scarab God and Meteor Golem to Kelly for lethal damage. Looking back at this game, the Toxic Deluge misplay was totally missed during the game, but in the end, I think it didn't matter too much. Kelly didn't have enough mana to play Konrad and the Orb on the same turn, which would have been her best way out. Even with another turn, all she had in hand was Lightning Greaves and the Mausoleum Secret with no graveyard. I did not know Scrap Trawler triggered on all artifact. It makes it really good in any deck that runs a mirror package to ramp like Konrad. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We should be back really soon with more multiplayer content, and in the meantime, make sure to hit that like button and share the video with a friend. It helps a lot. Have a great day and take care. Tortured Existence.